Turkmen Wolfhound, Central Asian Shepherd Dog, or simply Alibi. And today we will figure out whether he is rightly called the Wolf Crusher. Sit back. Let's get started. Of course, his voice is not the most pleasant, but there will definitely be no problems with audibility. Meet the Turkmen alibi, one of the oldest indigenous breeds of dogs, which were historically used by the peoples of Central Asia to guard livestock. And even now, just by its appearance, the alibi evokes admiration from the owner and fear from strangers. After all, this is a huge dog that can be over 24 inches at the withers, and its weight only starts at 110 pounds. Moreover, there are dogs whose weight exceeds 200 pounds, like this Georgian dog that weighs 246 pounds. However, it is believed that such a huge mass is more of a disadvantage, which, simply put, is formed from improper feeding and training of the dog, and it brings her much more restrictions than benefits. After all, this breed is very susceptible to dysplasia, that is, destruction of the joints. But large alibi, of course, look very powerful, and when he stands on his hind legs it becomes very scary. After all, this thug will just jump over this huge fence. Alibais are guard dogs. From time immemorial, their tasks included protecting the herd from predators and protecting everyone on their territory. This, of course, influenced the formation of the breed as a whole. After all, this is a dog with a strong character and his own opinion. This is by no means a fighting breed, and the alibi will not show aggression unless necessary. But everyone on its territory, including any living creatures, will be under supervision. Although, if desired, he can pat the ram on the neck in a friendly manner and, of course, receive several retaliatory blows from him. Although, as soon as you hear an unfamiliar voice, the dog will instantly go into combat mode. But look how the dog greets the intruder. Alibi does not attack until a person crosses the line and shows his aggression. So with such a four-legged friend, the house is under reliable protection. And in this video, the owner and the dog are walking around the territory, but the dog catches someone else's scent and raises the alarm. And as we see, it's not in vain. Great job. But if his owner is in danger, the alibi will rush to defense. Great. And of course, all such checks are carried out by instructors, in full protection, in compliance with all necessary safety measures. That's why no one was hurt here. An alibi treats children as kindly as possible, and he will endure any prank, although I wouldn't discount the size of the dog. Never! To get such a reliable guard, you need to carefully train the dog, and from a very early age. After all, if this is not done, the alibi may become uncontrollable. And this breed is not for beginners. Exactly. And not for an apartment? Alibi needs space. And besides, constant physical activity. This will help to form a developed muscle frame and not gain excess weight, which can negatively affect the joints. Although despite its size, Alibi has a modest appetite. And he has enough. And besides, the Alibi, despite its thick coat, easily tolerates temperature changes. And you can bathe the animal only twice a year. To train the endurance of the alibi, by the way, they often use a tire, which is attached to the dog as a weighting agent. And to train your grip, they usually use a piece of meat with more veins. It is hung on a rope and the dog has to tear parts of it off. Although it's clear from the size that the alibi's grip is very strong. For example, here a couple of bites were enough for the German Shepherd to understand that there was no chance in this fight and calmly step aside. Although she fought with dignity despite the difference in size. But it is absolutely unforgivable for the owner of an alibi to have such a fence. Well, that's the case. In this case, much attention is paid to preparing for a meeting with a wolf. As for the eternal question of who will win, there are two irreconcilable camps. If you want to know my opinion, a wolf learns to survive from birth and conquers not only with strength, but also with its dexterity and cunning. Any injury for him means death in the wild. And the alibi's task is not to defeat the wolf, but to prevent its attack. So both of them will avoid direct confrontation. However, given its inevitability, in the vast majority of cases, the wolf will win as an almost perfect killing machine. This does not mean that Alibi is weak. He just has a completely different task. There are cases of a dog winning, and there are quite a few of them. But you can't fool nature here. And too many factors can influence the outcome of a collision. And there is already a video about the wolf on the channel. I advise you to look. And against a bear, although he keeps his distance from him because he is a dangerous predator, even despite his youth. Lavrin, but a group of dogs can drive away even a large bear. And even a mother with cubs prefers to leave when such four-legged guards are watching the perimeter. But the alibi also understand that an encounter with a bear is extremely dangerous, and they act very carefully, without getting involved in close combat. After all, a clubfoot can kill a dog with one blow, and they never work alone. One way or another, it is worth giving the alibi people their due for their courage and determination. And this tiger liked the alibi toy, and he wanted to get it. Look how deftly he strikes the dog and dodges its mouth. And then he takes the bottle by the handle, completely humiliating the dog. This is how strong, brave, and fearless this protector and friend of man turned out to be. And if you also liked Alibi, then I will be very glad to rate this video. Don't forget to subscribe and rate this video. Thousands of years ago, in the heart of Anatolia, there were semi-wild dogs that guarded flocks from predators. These dogs were not only strong and agile, but also incredibly loyal to their owners. In the KANGAL region of central Turkey, local shepherds purposefully crossed the strongest and bravest dogs to create the perfect sheep guard. Thus was born the breed that later became known as KANGAL. KANGAL is not just a dog, it is a legend. It has incredible physical strength, endurance, and fearlessness. Its job is to protect flocks from wolves, bears, and other predators, risking their own lives. KANGAL is a true protector. For centuries, KANGALs have faced wolf packs, protecting flocks from their predatory attacks. Their courage and strength kept the wolves from attacking, and it is largely this ability that has made KANGAL famous throughout the world. Not a very friendly dog, is it? First of all, size. After all, the height of an adult dog at the withers can reach up to 32 inches. And if he stands on his hind legs, he becomes simply huge. It seems that even such a fence is not an obstacle for him. At the same time, the weight of large males can exceed 150 pounds. So you can't joke with him, and the dog's body is built very powerfully. For example, this comparison of a KANGAL's paw with a human hand. And the jaws of such a dog are the strongest among dogs. KANGALs have a bite force of up to 750 pounds per square inch. This, for a minute, is comparable to a large gray wolf. Therefore, the dog can easily grind any bone with his teeth. And he has plenty of strength too. After all, the dog can easily tow a car on its own, and KANGAL does it quite quickly. This monster is no match for even a huge tractor, and KANGAL confidently pulls it. So do not be surprised that walking such dogs is quite problematic. Although, as befits real guards, these are quite reserved dogs. For example, KANGAL will never bark for no reason. The dog is not prone to sudden attacks of aggression, and it also does not have a hunting instinct, which makes KANGAL a fairly friendly pet, and it easily finds a common language even with small children. Although given the size of the dog, you should not leave children nearby unattended. Moreover, like all dogs, they tend to play. For example, they love to arrange wall-to-wall fights. And here the red KANGALs entered into a confrontation with the light ones. And he will not tolerate if, for example, a horse starts to bully. Or he can take revenge on a car he didn't like in this way. A slight movement of the teeth and the bumper is neatly removed. KANGALs show completely different qualities when they are at work. As a rule, they occupy elevated positions for convenient observation of the herd. And in case of danger, the dogs immediately rush at the enemy. So the predator can only run away from there, because it is better not to mess with several KANGALs. KANGALs are usually not used alone, entrusting protection to a group of 2 to 4 dogs. And since the dog's enemies are very strong and dangerous, you can often see collars with large spikes on their necks. Although the outcome of a meeting with an enemy can be completely unpredictable, wolves are the main enemies of sheep and therefore KANGALs too. They are very strong, hardy, and smart. They also act in packs, which greatly complicates the KANGAL's work. Plus, they attack from different sides, blocking literally any enemy. In this video, 3 wolves attacked 1 dog at once. The KANGAL is cornered and the wolves grab it without any problems. The predators quickly drag their prey away. Now the confrontation is 3-on-3 and the dogs quickly fight off the gray wolves. But it was not the cowardice of the predators that played a role here, but rather the desire to spend a lot of energy. If the animals meet one-on-one, then the KANGAL is unlikely to retreat. For example, here the wolf attacked a small dog, luring it out from under the tractor. But immediately the KANGAL runs out, who without hesitation rushes at the enemy, and the wolf quickly runs away. Even on a chain, the dog poses a serious threat. And these two wolves can't decide to attack the dogs. And the KANGAL and alibi defend themselves well, leaving the predators with nothing. And in these shots, the wolf caught the dog and was about to pass by the KANGAL, but the dog rushes into the attack so actively that the wolf first loses its prey and then barely escapes. So it is not for nothing that this dog bears the proud name Wolfhound. And in one-on-one fights, even gray wolves usually try to run away. What can we say about smaller species of wolves? But the main trump card of gray predators is, of course, a pack. And here everything is not so clear. For example, here KANGAL was attacked by 3 wolves at once, and then a 4th one arrived. It is clear that no dog can cope with such a pack. It is good that the owner ran out in time and scared the wolves. And here, the pack of wolves brought down their power on a weaker dog. One of the wolves first tried to attack KANGAL, but realized that it was very dangerous and returned to the pack. However, why KANGAL did not protect the other dog remains a mystery to me. Perhaps he is not so experienced yet. As in this video, KANGAL gives the sheep to the wolves without much persistence. So a lot depends on the correct training of the dog. And in general, KANGAL is a guard, whose task does not include killing the wolf. He only has to hold out in defense until a man with a gun comes running. Nevertheless, with proper training, he perfectly protects the flock. Even hyenas can fall into the jaws of a KANGAL. Although a KANGAL will not be afraid even of a bear. A club-footed predator can come out of the forest to feast on sheep, and a KANGAL will rush to defend without hesitation. Look how the two of them attack a young bear. So much so that the predator tries to quickly run away from there. But he does not succeed, because the KANGALs do not stop their pursuit. And here a larger bear fights a KANGAL one-on-one. Moreover, the second dog retreated and watches everything from afar. And our hero, clearly inferior in strength, tries to evade the attack, but does not go far from the predator. Even a tiger can be embarrassed when he sees a KANGAL. It is not clear how they ended up together, but the dog looks very good. And a dangerous striped cat can lie on its shoulder blade like this. The KANGAL is not just a working dog, it is a loyal friend and protector. It is not only strong, but also sensitive. It closely watches its owner, is always ready to help and share its warmth. It is a symbol of loyalty, courage, and strength. Its history is the history of the Turkish steppe, the history of strong people and equally strong dogs who have protected them for centuries. That's all. I hope you like this strong and brave dog. Then don't be lazy to rate the video. And of course, your comment under the video will be the best reward for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And don't forget to turn on notifications. And I'm saying goodbye to you for a while. Bye.